I mean, yeah, we can't say we have a favorite crime, but what is the one that struck you the most, Agang? The biggest impact?
Construction worker owed money.
Mhm.
Sinisingil na siya ng pera. He was so desperate he couldn't pay it back. He, got a hammer and then just basically he killed the guy.
Oh!
Yeah,
Wait!
and
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Quarantuhan series. We're on our third episode, and my name is Anton Fausto. On this show, I try to share relevant stories, important points of views, and things that I believe matter. And kasi my background as a person, I naturally gravitate towards the lighter, funner things in life. So as a host, I never really wanted to do, serious type of work. But I have a very good friend, and we were both student jocks for Monster RX 93.1. She lived my dream back in college of being a courtside reporter, and now she's living another dream as a GMA News Reporter. Please welcome our guest for today, Cor Catibayan. What's up, Cor? How are you?
hey Anton, how are you? Wow, it was your dream pala. I didn't know that.
It was. Kasi in college, I mean, I started hosting in college, but then I didn't know that guys, because it's all girls, diba?
Right.
Most of the time.
Previous years, yeah.
Yeah, and then biglang sinadip, became
Right,
courtside reporter.
and all.
Yeah, I was, pwede ba yung lalaki?
Pwede pala.
But then it's okay. As in, no regrets because I knew that you're a dancer then eh. When you were a courtside reporter, did you still get to compete and dance agad?
Actually, I stopped dancing when the last time I competed was 2017. So that was when I was in third year college. And the reason why I said parang after that last competition in HHI, Hip Hop International.
Did you go? Was it in the States mismo? Or the national?
I did.
Wow, okay.
In
Ako hanggang
Arizona.
Philippines lang ako. Hanggang Philippines lang kasi ako sa HHI.
Okay din yun. And what do you call this? So by the time it was parang 2017, that was my last year, sabi ko, okay, I think I wanna shift to something that's more related to my course because I took up broadcast communication in UP. And at that time kasi, parang it was all dance. Like I was so focused on dance. But I told myself, okay, I kind of want to do something related to my course. And that's why at that time, Dip, everyone watching Dip is a courtside reporter.
Yeah.
And who was also one of my good friends in college. He was courtside reporter back then. So I was asking him parang, how do I audition and how do I get into this whole reporting or journalist thing because it's what I studied, right? And because of that, parang tuloy-tuloy na he helped me, and then that's why I also took up parang my majors were broadcast journalism 101. So that course also kind of inspired me to, okay, this is kind of what I really want to dive into, and then tuloy-tuloy na yun.
Yeah. So you really wanted to be a journalist? Like, was this your dream since you were a kid?
Actually, no. When I entered college, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted, and because I shifted from political science in my first year. So talagang when I entered college, my mindset was parang, okay, parang I want to take up law. And then when I took up that course, Broadcast Journalism 101, that's when we learned about the ropes of being a reporter and what it's like in news. And I was so interested in it. But I knew that at that time, there was no venue for news in particular. But because there was courtside reporting, which was obviously, in a way, an opportunity to learn how to report and everything, that's the path that I decided to take on at first. And then after that, after sports, then moved on to news.
Okay. So before I want to understand
dive into that,
the what it's like to be a reporter, because lots of people we only see the few minutes that you're on TV reporting and stuff, but I know that there's so much more that goes behind it: research, getting the right interview, asking the questions, all those stuff. But before that, rewind a bit to your journey as a courtside reporter. First, I wanted to know also for myself, where are the auditions posted? Like, is there a Facebook page or because it's usually, oh, here are the courtside reporters. What? There was an audition. How does it work?
Yeah, that's true. Kahit ako, parang I didn't, prior to the year that I auditioned, I didn't know where it was posted and, if there are commercials for it or what.
Yeah.
Until it so happened na the year that I decided na, okay, I kind of want to get into this. I saw the commercial on ABS-CBN
Okay.
SNA. And then it was like, do you want to be the next courtside reporter? Yeah, you have to be. Are you 18 years old, 18 to 25 years old, a college student?
To
Yada, yada,
25?
yada. Parang
18
18
to
to 25
25?
was the
Pwede pa pala
Parang
ako?
ganon.
Gabo na. Gabo
Or
if I go
basta,
back.
basta you're college student,
Yeah,
diba?
yeah.
And then, because may mga 25-year-old college student pa rin, diba?
Yeah, just take some
And then-
courses.
And then, parang it had like different qualities. Like, are you confident? Are you sports? Basta mga ganon. And then so I saw it and I was like, hey, parang sakto. This is, parang it just happened to be the same year that I wanted to audition, and then I
The
saw
stars
it.
kind of aligned.
Kind of, I guess you could say. And then had all the details of it, of like where to submit your resume and your videos and all. And yeah.
Okay. When you audition for it, kasi your UP, Dip was UP also, but
Mhm.
you represented and you were the courtside reporter of another school. When
Yeah.
you auditioned, was that your fire? Okay, I'm gonna go in. I want a courtside report for another school, or you just given the assignment and you're like, okay, happy to be here. Parang ganon.
Well, when I audition, syempre you audition with the mindset that you're gonna be chosen for your school, and that's
Yeah.
obviously the ideal situation, diba? So even when we were doing spills, for example, when we were auditioning camera audition and everything, parang they'll make you do a spiel, and whenever I do a spiel, UP Fighting Maroons yung sinasabi ko,
Of course.
and yeah, syempre, diba? Because that's what you studied also.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the audition, parang when they released na lang the results, they were the ones kasi who assigned me to Adamson, the school that I reported for. And at the time, syempre, I was open to it because at the end of the day, you learn the same things. In fact, I feel like I learned even more because I was out of my comfort zone.
Gets.
So that helped me a lot also because parang, and I remember they asked, parang, do you still want to be a courtside reporter even if it's for a different school? Yes. It doesn't really matter. I mean, syempre, nung una, that's all you're thinking about. Parang you wanna represent your school and all.
Yeah.
But hindi, parang the bigger picture is, for me at least, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, I entered it because I wanted to learn, and I got more than what I expected because I learned way more than what I thought I would have.
Who was the UP courtside reporter that year? Was it Sam Coragas? Or was that
Sam Cor, yeah.
Okay, you guys are goods.
Yeah, ano ka ba?
Ako, I know that this is gonna be posted online, but if I were you, I'd be kind of annoyed and kind of jealous. Like, excuse me, but why is she? We're both courtside reporters, and ako pa yung kailangang bumiyahe to another school just to do the same thing that she's doing. Did you have to go to Adamson regularly? Diba you had to watch their practices or something like that?
Right.
How often?
Yeah. I think if you were assigned to your school, obviously so much easier. You can go every day. But for me at least, I didn't have class kasi Monday and Wednesday I didn't have class. So at most I wanted to. Oo nga. Sadya yun para there was time for extracurricular. Okay. And so I would try my best to go Monday and Wednesday. And then learn and everything. But going back to with Sam, she was my classmate. She was my classmate that Sam. And so I remember pa talaga, and she was the one parang when the results or the results ba yun or whatever when we were told
Did
that
she congratulate? Was she the one who told you?
No naman, but parang
hi, I'm UP na pala, and you also got, pero you're in another school.
Also, parang we were already close at the time, and then she also made me realize that it doesn't matter because parang at the end of the day we want to learn, and you're going to be able to do that no matter what school you're placed in.
Yeah. And it helps that it's Sam Cor. I mean, for those who don't know Sam, she's a sweetheart. She's so nice. Like, she can tell me that something bad is really about to happen, and I'm gonna I guess I can handle it. Ganun yung aura niya, ganun yung vibe niya.
Yeah, that's true. And mas bagay talaga kasi UP Pep. So,
Okay. Sige na nga,
diba? So,
gets ko.
yeah,
Buti na lang she's
yeah.
UP Pep, ha? And again, if I were in that situation and I'm a guy and I tried to be a courtside reporter and then let's say like dip, I ended up in another school. I probably
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be that mad if they got a girl for Ateneo kasi at least I
Mm.
can say na, kasi hindi ako babae kasi kaya hindi ako tinanggap as a courtside
May
reporter.
ganun ba talaga? No,
But
but it
I
was
think
ano,
there hasn't been a guy courtside reporter for Ateneo in my memory
from
at
Ateneo.
all. Yeah,
Right, right,
yeah.
right.
Okay, but
Yeah.
anyway, transitioning now, courtside reporting, you're reporting news, but it's on
Right.
athletes, it's on the game. And then now transitioning to what you do now, news reporting.
Mm-hmm.
What is the biggest difference you can say with those two jobs?
Super big. I think, well, number one, the topics that you are talking about, obviously, and the nature of it is very different because when you're, at least from my experience, I can only speak from my experience, but when I was a courtside reporter, you're in a game, and after about an hour or so, tapos na yung reporting mo, diba? I mean, obviously, there are so many things that go behind the scenes also because like I said, I would go to their practices, and you have to get to know all of the players and the coaches and all of that. But I think the biggest difference is the the topic
The
itself.
topic
And
talaga, no?
yeah, it's and just to give a background, I wasn't really, I mean, I would watch basketball, yung usual, like you'd watch, UAP games and all, but I wasn't like an avid fan. So it was really more for to learn how to report and to write stories about different people. And so when it came to news, my interest was more parang mas sakto with news because I was,
Really? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Do you watch news for fun? Before you became a magamang now it's when you watch it
Um,
it's work. It's work in your head. But
yeah.
before was
Actually,
that
I don't
something
know if
you look forward to?
I wouldn't say, parang I sound so boring naman when I say, but parang it was more of, I parang it was just natural. Like I was so curious about what was going on with the country and the
Wow.
world,
That's good.
and parang I just wanted to know. I don't know. I mean, there was a curiosity for what was going on, political wise, and social issues and all. Even when I was in sports, I was still more inclined to news, and I knew that I wanted to do news. Parang even while I was in sports, I knew that I wanted to do news because I said na parang that's more up my alley.
I wish I could say the same thing because when I was a kid, like I would want to watch cartoons. I don't want to know what's happening to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for example. But then you like you really
No,
you
I would
genuinely
also watch
enjoyed.
cartoons. Ano ka ba?
Yeah, of course. But I'm not saying you're a different. No,
Yeah,
but you're
yeah,
that's still a
yeah.
different type of child. Because I mean, all my childhood friends, I can't think of one that was like, all right, guys, I'm done with my homework. Time to watch the news. Did you have any? Were there any stories or news anchors, news reporters that sort of stuck with you from childhood that they were kind of like your childhood heroes?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, and it's great because now I get to see them in person. And it's so parang, like, parang syempre when I see them, I have to kind of contain my excitement. But then, at the back of my head, it's like, oh my gosh, I would only see her in TV or yung ganon, or I'd only read about them on the paper or all of that. And also, not only in the Philippines, but anchors from, you know, international also. So it, until now, until this very day, I mean, I've only been with the network for about 8 months. So obviously, still very starstruck when I see all of these people.
Who would be examples of like your biggest um journalist journalist icons or journalist idols?
Dami eh. And one person in particular who was my professor also, Ma'am Cara David. She was my prof in UP, and I think that's also another reason why I was so parang I knew that I wanted to do news was because I learned from her, and then also Jessica Soho, Vicky Morales, all of these big names that it's just so parang unbelievable pa rin sometimes that I'm in the same building as them, yung ganon.
Yeah, I get it. And you mentioned a while ago, you have to contain your excitement. So I don't, okay, as someone who, I admitted it, I don't really watch the news. So I
It's
was
fine.
looking. I saw your Instagram posts of some news reports you did. Is it a rule that you have to contain your excitement? Like when you report, you have to be very stoic and very
Mm,
like I get it. You have to be neutral because you're just gonna report the news. You're not gonna give an opinion about it.
yeah.
Or did they tell you that you have to be you have to have a straight face. You have to just read the words. Like don't perform
Um,
it.
yeah. I don't, they never said, but I feel like parang natural in a sense. Kasi parang syempre, if it's a bad story, like if somebody
Oh yeah.
died or if it was an accident or there's, crime stories, because that's what I'm crime beat now eh. Pangit naman if you're nakangiti ka,
Oo nga
diba?
naman.
So parang, I guess it varies also. And I think, if it's happy news, then you can kind of smile a little bit. But for the most part, it's kind of a straight face kind of thing. And another thing that I feel, at least from my experience, is what's different from sports also. Because in sports, in relation to what you were saying, of containing excitement, grabbing the energy in the arena, and it's so difficult to keep calm, and you have to just remain composed while you're reporting, and while the audience of like 20,000 people are screaming and cheering, and then you have to try your best to just remain calm. And I think that's one of the things that I learned as a courtside reporter, which I still am able to use until now.
But those are two super different types of
Super.
energy. You have
Yeah.
fans who are screaming, and then there's ambulances and crying, and yeah,
Right,
just
right, right,
it's two different sides of the spectrum. We were talking
right.
about like if there's I was asking if there's like a certain type of emotion you should have. But how about the tone? This is something that I've always been curious about. News reporters have this, it's like they all come from the same um church choir that they were all taught to. Okay, when you talk there, it has this
Right, right,
yung
right. I
going up
understand.
and
Mm-hmm. Parang yung
nagbabalita.
intonation, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
was that?
yeah,
Did you is that something you're just bored with?
yeah. No, well, I was helped. I was so thankful that when I entered, a lot of other news reporters helped me out with my tone and the diction and where to emphasize, because that was something that's so different from how I was reporting in sports. And another thing is it's in Tagalog. So that was also an adjustment for me, I have to admit. That's why thankfully I was helped by so many other reporters who were so willing to help me out on that. And I think you kind of just learn it also along the way. Obviously you're not born with it, but then I think by listening to the news also every day, you kind of just pick it up also.
Yeah, I would say like comparing it with being a mixed VJ, there also is a certain tone. It's super different though, as in
Yeah.
you can tell if you close your eyes and you can tell if it's a news reporter. But then for a mixed VJ, I guess it's just someone who's like very like so excited about every little thing. Like I think that's something that when I was taught when I would like introduce a music video or something, I sometimes I think, wow, I'm so excited naman for this artist
Yeah,
na
yeah,
gets
yeah.
well. But anyway, I wanted to ask about that transition, that learning for you to speak more Tagalog. We know that you studied in
Mhm.
AC, and I mean it is like a known fact. Like
Right.
if you're Ateneo grade school, high school, chances are mayabang ka, which is I would say it's true. Mayabang naman ako eh. But
Okay,
then
okay,
as
okay.
an AC as a student from AC, the stereotype is social, 'di ba,
What?
mayaman, Englishera. Was
Yeah.
that the same case? I didn't super know you in high school, so I don't know like
Mhm.
what your mode of communication was. But were you like
Yeah.
English talaga? And then you just had to really be more comfortable with Filipino on the job.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I have to admit, no, parang in AC, syempre that was what I was used to already, and even at home, that's our first language is English. So something that really helped me was when I was in UP.
Oh yeah,
I
okay. That's
That's
the
when.
first culture shock.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say culture shock, but that's where I learned how to be more fluent, I guess. Nakakahiya. I don't know, parang it's so nakakahiya for me to say
I
that.
get
But
it. I get it.
yeah. But it was first in UP. So and then when I transitioned, and also because when I was a courtside reporter, English, it was in
Yeah,
English,
it's more English.
right? So and I guess similar also when as a mixed VJ, it's also in English, diba? So it's a different transition when you're
Yeah.
when you're reporting in Filipino.
Yeah, but then that's something also I've been having to like adjust with and learn more. And I know, I'm sure both of us, we were born and raised here. You were born in the Philippines,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So we know Filipino. It's just that, wala, we're more comfortable with speaking English. Like that's how our classmates talk. That's how our family talks. So
Mm-hmm.
it's something I had to uh learn also. But I think it's something very important that although it's kind of awkward and nakakahiya to think about it, I mean you
Mm-hmm.
have to go through it. I also learned it. I want to know if it's the same with you. That you kind of at first kasi I was like, okay, I'm a Filipino. I have to just be comfortable. But the moment I think na haga the person I'm talking to might think I'm Konyo and not good in Filipino, it's gonna make me more nervous and it makes me suck a little more in Filipino. Was it the same for you? Did you have any parang Konyo moments na parang, ha? Alam ko naman paano mag-Filipino. Bakit ako nagiging barok or nagiging parang
Yeah,
konyo?
yes, yes. Yeah, syempre, I think we all have those moments, especially if your first language is English. But I think that's something that I don't know. I feel like parang we should steer away from that mindset then. Na parang, porket English speaker ka, di ka marunong, or, yung ganon mindset na, because it also, parang it also kind of makes it more hesitant, I think, for other people who are so comfortable in English. It makes them hesitant to speak Filipino na. So because parang they're just gonna be made fun of, they'd rather not learn anymore. Yung
Did
ganon.
did you have any
So,
moments? Did you have any in moments in your job na you're from AC? You're pretty white, so I would imagine like when you're there on the scene, like like people you work with, people you've interviewed, like I don't know, like I would just imagine they're gonna kind of get I don't know, kind of starstruck or parang or they start feeling pressure to speak English. You know, there are those that happens a lot na you're gonna try to speak Filipino, but then I think they'll feel na haga I think she understands English more, so mag-English na ako. Did you have any of those moments?
thankfully, wala. Because I feel when I approach them, I already, I speak in Filipino, so automatic, the conversation just flows. Parang and that's another thing that I try my best to make sure that walang, there's no barrier when we speak to each other. Because obviously, when you're interviewing somebody, you have to make them feel comfortable, diba?
Yeah.
So there shouldn't be any, distance or anything separating the two. And I think if I go into the interview and then it's already, you know, um, in the language that they're comfortable with, then
Yeah.
tuloy-tuloy na yun.
I saw your Instagram post on the first report that you did, and there's that awkward 2 or 3 seconds. Yeah, two is fine. But I think this was like 3 seconds. So, ito na si Cor Catibayan. And then I don't know if it's like a Zoom. It's worse than Zoom. And Zoom kasi it's like probably 1.5 second delay. Something I had to adjust na if they didn't say anything, it doesn't mean because walang kwenta yung sinabi ko. It's because, okay, they haven't heard it yet. Like, it's still,
Yeah.
in that 1.5 seconds, my brain is thinking,
Right.
oh no, wala, did I say something wrong? Is my internet gone? Did you have any moments like that na, I don't know, you missed a cue or you started talking kaagad, it wasn't even live yet?
Yeah. There have been moments, and it's because of the signal and the delay of the override. And there have been moments already, like when I hear the anchor in the studio introducing me, for example, and then they go, okay, parang mula sa blah blah, Cor Catibayan, and then when I hear my name, I'll start reporting already, and then I suddenly hear the anchor asking a question. So parang I'll start my report, and then listen, and then parang, di ba? So there's that And I think, if you're watching the news also, you'll notice also some reporters na gumaganon din kasi parang they heard something or they were cued and then they started the report and then they heard a question and then they had to answer. So, yeah, that happens.
You have to multitask. For myself, and napansin ko rin, booking ko na yun yung mga fellow VJs ko. If you do this, like if we're on a call right now, doing this and touching my earphone does not change anything. Like it doesn't make the volume louder. It doesn't make the connection better or whatsoever. Do you have it? I'm sorry if I'm gonna reveal your ask you to reveal your tricks, but do you have some sort of stuff na parang, okay, if I do this, it means like this? Me, there are times that we would be more than one VJ kasi interviewing an artist, for example. If I'm not sure what to say or I feel like parang I've been talking so much, it should be the other person. I would drink water. I would lean back or other people.
I saw you.
No. I'm really thirsty din kasi. Besides like touching the earphone, I think. Do you have any parang cues na okay, just so that it won't look awkward, I'm gonna do this muna or fix the microphone, fix my shirt. Do you have any of those?
Feeling ko when I'm interviewing somebody, I'm on my phone, and I'm and I'm writing down what they're saying, obviously. And because after the interview, we call we take sitners. So even after so okay. It's in the, for example, when you're watching the news packager, for example, the report of a reporter, and then it's after the interview, parang it cuts to the reporter's face or the face of the person they're interviewing. So that's what you call sitners. Yung in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of like this of stuff happening.
Yes. So when, for example, our cameraman is taking those, and then, for example, I can't. You have to keep the conversation going with your interviewer, obviously, right? Yeah. Because he's taking a video, and I can't parang think anymore of what to what to ask or something. I'll just repeat what I asked to my interviewee, and then I'll just pretend that I'm like.
That's smart. That's so smart.
You can continue taking the footage without it being too obvious that you're not really doing much anymore.
Okay. So you're not really doing much anymore. So parang ganun, you have to. Wow, that's smart though. I heard my mom was telling us na she was talking about like public speaking and giving tips na if you're giving a speech or if you're giving a talk and then you sort of have to, you kind of ran out of things to say or you kind of think of the next point, you just repeat what you just said and just kind of phrase it differently. So example, you can say for example, when you want to be a good host, you have to be very confident. So because the confidence that you need to be a good host, but yeah, you can just repeat it. Okay. Now my next question: do you remember any favorite news item or favorite news report you've done for the past 8 months? Wait, ang laban ng pag-frame ko. What was your favorite news report that you have done in the past 8 months?
That's hard to answer. I have to admit, it's hard to answer because, like I mentioned earlier, I cover the crime beat.
Oh yeah, okay. So, there's no favorite crime. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint. Yeah.
See, not favorite. There is no. I mean, yeah, we can't say we have a favorite crime, but what is the one that struck you the most? The biggest impact that you can remember?
A lot. Yeah, no, okay, but it's bad. I mean, I don't wanna just kind of turn I don't wanna shift the what do you call this, the environment of this conversation because we're so happy. Okay. But
okay, no, it's the truth. It's the truth.
At the top of my mind, I remember there's this one story of this, and this I think just highlights the harsh realities that we live in now. But there was this one time that I covered this construction worker who owed his parang co-construction worker money, and because, long story short, he couldn't pay it back and sinisingil na siya ng pera, and because he was so desperate he couldn't pay it back, he got a hammer and then just basically he killed the guy.
Oh, wait!
Yeah, and
who did you kill? The guy,
the
Thor?
the suspect, yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah.
This is why I can't be a news reporter at all. Dude, that's what you did. That's what you did. Oh man, which side did you
No,
use? Those are the questions I'd be asking. Kaya hindi talaga
no,
bagay sa akin.
and it's the crazy thing is, he owed the guy like 500 pesos.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? So
Now I feel bad for my joke.
it's
Oh man.
yeah,
Okay.
but but those are the things. Those are the things that
Yeah.
I see on a daily basis. So I was face to face with a suspect, and not only that, to make matters worse, the family of the victim was there also in the precinct, and so they were, you know, face to face with each other, and then I'm there. You know, those are the things that are, you know, how do you reconcile, and how do
Yeah.
you even,
But it's
you
not
know,
your job at
start
the
a
same time.
conversation? And
You
yeah,
you just have to
obviously,
report it. Oh.
yeah, but it's at the same time, it's like, you know, you enter, and that's why I try my best to, you know, you have to be sensitive with these. For me, at least, like as a journalist, I make sure to, you know, you have to be sensitive with these cases, of course, with all cases, you know. But
Yeah.
when it's yung ganito na yung family, and then the, you know, how those are the things that are, you know, just
Yeah.
difficult to deal with sometimes.
How do you reconcile that? Because you have to report about the news, but it's not your job to help. You're not there to fix their problems. You're just there to
Right.
report it. So how do you deal with that? And have you been like desensitized? Is that a term? Desensitized? You know, if
Yeah,
you've
that's the thing.
seen, yeah, if you've seen that type of crazy shit so many times, how do you
No,
get used to
you
it?
know, I make sure talaga not to get desensitized. I mean, in a way, I guess it helps the reporter if you're desensitized, because you don't get affected emotionally because you're so used to it. That's another thing that I try to make sure na, because I think there are some instances, like for example, when, and even in the questions that you ask, like for example, if it's a drug suspect, and then, you know, he was, for example, murdered, and then the family sees their son or their brother who was just murdered, and then you're a reporter, and you're gonna ask, you know, the family member, parang, who's grieving, obviously, and
Yeah.
then you go, you know, was your brother a drug suspect? Parang, you know, if you were the family member, sobrang maiinis ka with that, the person,
Yeah, of
with the
course.
reporter, you know, you're in the middle of a of seeing your family member or somebody that's close to you who just went through that, and then you're going through it, and then somebody's, you know, bothering you with all of these questions. So I try my best to, you know, you have to read the room. You have to read the
Yeah.
room, and you have to kind of know your place also, and you have to it's a striking the balance between, I think, getting the story, getting the answers, and still, you know, being sensitive towards the situation.
Yeah. One more question about this type of topic. How do you recharge yourself? Kasi ako, my experience, my job is pretty light. As in, we talk about songs, your inspiration. It's pretty much light, happy stuff. But I still get very tired after each interview. Like
Yeah, of course.
I need time to just, and those are light stuff. Nah, I can only imagine
Yeah.
how it's like if you're dealing with death, if you're dealing with crime.
Mm-hmm.
How do you sort of recharge yourself and ready yourself for the next day for another pretty depressing story to read, to
um
study, and to report?
right. Me, what helps me a lot is I like to talk about it. Like I like to make it cuento to my family. Once I get home, I tell them what my story was about, so that I parang feeling ko kasi, if it's just with me, if it stays with me, it'll consume my head, and then I won't be able to, you know, get proper rest or sleep well, or baka it'll,
Gets.
you know, haunt me in my dreams, yung ganon. But it helps to release it and talk about it, and, you know, inform them also that this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now I'm thinking na kasi I would sometimes for Fausto meals at home, probably
Mm-hmm.
more than half is talking about finance, like
Mm-hmm.
the newest, well, whatever happened in the stock market, or this company had this news.
Right.
Now I'm thinking it's not that bad, because if I were in a Katibayan house dinner or something, it's gonna be a lot about crime and well, you know what? Good. It's really good that you have that, and kudos to your family for I mean, we watch the news and then we turn off the TV. We turn off the news if we've had enough of it. But then
Yeah.
here comes your daughter, firsthand, who has the real news and like could tell you the inside scoop talaga of those type of stuff. But buti lang your
No, and
family is good about is chill
yeah,
with that.
yeah. No, and I'm obviously super grateful to them because if I'm parang in my head, it's like, okay, I can't be the only one
Yeah.
that has to deal with this.
I'm bringing you down with me.
Parang
That's
help
what
me out,
family
yeah.
does. That's what
And
family's
it's so
for.
funny because, my mom also says that if it weren't for me, she wouldn't really know what's going on because parang
Oh.
she doesn't like listening to the news because it's all bad news
Yeah.
and
Same
it's
kami ni
it's
tita. Same.
nakaka-drain. Yeah, diba?
Yeah.
So, at least with her, she gets it sporadically and but
Oo.
parang when she wants it, when it's convenient, diba? But then for reporters at least parang you can't turn off the TV. You can't
Okay.
turn off your phone and stop reading it because that's literally it's your job to know.
Well, related to this, last week in the last episode I had here in the Quarantuhan, it while we're recording this, it hasn't been released yet, so Cor has not seen it. My guest Bianca was talking about the different type of Viber, what type of quarantine person you are. Are you the type of person like in a Viber? Are you in Viber groups that share the news? As a news reporter, do you still share news on Viber groups, or are you someone that when you go home and after you talk to your family about the news you just worked about, shut off na, like you don't ano muna, you give yourself a break from the news?
Parang hard to say that you give yourself a break from the news, but except when I'm sleeping.
Oo
Because
nga,
like
oo
the
nga.
moment when I wake up, I'm already like on our Viber thread and it's like what's happening? Okay,
Oh, so
what's
it's
going
Viber.
on?
You guys use Viber.
We use Viber, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
And but with my friends, for example, I don't think unless it's like a really big issue that I want to talk about some more, then I share it. But other than that, I don't na kasi parang I don't wanna spread pa
Yeah,
negative energy or
yeah.
anything
I
like that
would get
unless I'm
Mhm.
asked
Okay, yeah.
unless
I
I'm
would get
asked
kind
for
of bummed out.
information.
I would get kind of bummed out. Let's say you and I was having a birthday party, and then, oh, hey, kamusta ka na? And then, oh, yeah, kasi this the latest crime, the latest death toll.
Exactly. Exactly, yeah.
I'm gonna talk to someone else. Baka ganun mangyari. Okay, but
Yeah, exactly,
anyway,
that's why. Yeah.
next question, man. What would be your dream story or your dream news to cover about? Is there a certain? I'm not sure of the of how of like the structure in journalism, but for example, as a VJ, diba? Like, I want to be able to dream big. I want to interview Drake, Chance the Rapper, or Bruno Mars one day. Do you have that sort of dream in your career as a journalist? A goal?
Yeah. The I think now kasi so in journalism or at least in broadcasting, there are different what you call beats. So that's where you're assigned to. So like for example, my beat now is crime. There's crime beat and then there's also House beat, Senate beat, Malacanang beat, different areas where you're assigned to. And as of now, I'm not so sure where I would want to be assigned to. So I think that's why I kind of just having fun now, learning the ropes and finding out what, my skills or where I would be best placed in. But I think
Okay.
in terms of like, a dream, something that I would be parang one of my dream assignments siguro as of the moment, I would really want to cover something abroad. And parang it would be so cool to go to a different country and cover something that's going on there and make it known or, deliver the news or the message here
Yeah.
to the Philippines.
Definitely. And that could also be, I mean, you didn't say it, but I'll say it for you. That could also be like an excuse of, my dream is to be, flown abroad for free, accommodations free, travel for free. I've always wanted that. Like I haven't gotten the
Mm-hmm.
chance, and obviously I won't have it in a long time because of the pandemic. But
Right.
other VJs have been flown abroad to interview different artists. I could honestly, I could
Yeah.
care less who the artist is, but if they're gonna fly you to Singapore or whatever, yeah, I mean, I don't even
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to.
yeah.
It could be the first time I heard of this artist, and it's totally fine. I'll be super happy with the job. But then now relating that to, we're talking about dreams and the future. We're looking at the
Mhm.
present. You're in the same generation as me, and I
Right.
think this very very strange time, I feel like we're sort of required now. I mean, it's like an unspoken thing, but we have to take like a bigger role when it comes to what happens in the country. So as someone who's very very um informed about the news and what's happening, what do you think is the role and what should our generation do to be able to like make positive change for the future? Kasi in the future nga, our generation naman will be the one running the country and stuff. So, but what do
Right.
you think people our age should do now to sort of plant the seeds for the future of our country?
Number one, I think if you can vote, then you should vote. I think that makes a big difference. And, I think if you have a voice, then use it. Everybody has a voice. If you can speak out, then speak out. But I think something else that I want to highlight is if you're going to speak out, or because of the internet now, everybody is empowered to give their opinion and say what they want about everything that's going on. But I think if you are going to do that, it's your responsibility also to make sure that it's uninformed opinion, because just like I said, that with the internet, everybody has a voice. Because of the internet, you have access to so much resources to be able to research and study and be informed of what's going on. And because of that, if you use it together with you being responsible on social media, then you'll be able, parang ripple effect siya, you'll be able to inform more people and let other people know what's going on correctly, because it's so easy to spread information. So if you do that wisely, then the effect of it, I think, is it's a really big effect on
Yeah.
everything that's going on.
So in other words, you can also check Cor's social media accounts if ever did Cor say this happened? Oh, it's true. It's probably verified. Instead of having to like go through all these news channels and different looking for different articles and sources, just check out what Cor said. It's probably true. But then I want to ask you, what is your outlook on the future of the country? Are you optimistic? And kasi now, as in personally, I find it really hard to stay positive. I really pride myself as a positive optimistic person. But
Mhm.
then with it's like everywhere. We know that the news usually covers bad news, but it's never been this bad. I think
Yeah,
that is it because I'm getting older, so I'm starting to like see the reality of the world. But
yeah,
I don't think our well, okay, obviously our parents had martial law, but then
right.
this really isn't normal. So like, are you still optimistic? How do you wow? What I'm kind of at a loss of words.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't want to spread, false hope.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it pays to still be optimistic and still believe that there can be something good that comes out of it, of everything that's going on now. It's so easy kasi to just turn a blind eye because it's uncomfortable and it's
It is.
um
It's very
out of your
uncomfortable.
comfort zone. It's
Uh-huh.
very uncomfortable, diba? And like you said earlier, parang sometimes just rather turn off the TV and just kind of I don't want to deal with it now. But I think that in itself is a privilege of many people, that
Yeah.
because there are some people who can just turn the TV off and say, I don't want to deal with it. But on the other side of things, there are people in the country who are actually dealing with it. And that's the news. That's what we're reporting, because those are the things that are going on. So, I think what we need to do, I guess, now is to, maybe uplift each other. Na with the pandemic kasi, there are two sides. There are people on the one side, there are those who are privileged enough to work from home, who are who are privileged enough to have a home at this time with food on their table. And on the other side, there are those who are literally, starving and don't have the means to survive. So I think it's the responsibility to help each other out during these times, that if you can, then lend a helping hand to whoever it is in your sphere of influence, because I think that in itself will make a really big difference.
Yeah, I saw this illustration recently. You know how people are saying that this pandemic really hit everybody. Now we're all people would say we're all in the same boat, but then it's not true, because we're all in the same. I would say
Yeah.
we're all in the same storm, but some of us are on a yacht, some of us are on a
Yeah.
bangka, some people are drowning. Like it's
Exactly.
everyone's affected, but we're not affected the same way, because we all have our different privileges. We all have our different resources. That example for us, we can
Right.
work from home. We can work from home.
Exactly.
But then now I wanna, before we end this conversation, which I'm having a lot of fun, by the way. I didn't think
Me
that
too. Thanks, Anton.
thank you for being here. I would think like news reporter, it's like serious stuff. But then no, I hope this showed people that the news can also be fun naman. And that's why our last part. I researched for some bizarre news. So I'm calling this part fake news with a question mark. All right, first one. I'm gonna read the title. I'm gonna read the news article, and I need you to fill in the blank. Man dresses as blank to warn Florida beachgoers about coronavirus. So this is from NBC News, and your choices are A, Pennywise, as in the clown, B, Grim Reaper, C, Zorro, or D, Ronald McDonald. So there's a man in Florida who dressed up as what character, or what did he dress up as to warn? Kasi we know that Florida is like the hot spot for.
Right,
I mean,
right,
if the coronavirus was like a nation, it would be like that's where the party's at. Florida, that's where that's where they're thriving. So what did this man dress up as? With your expertise as a journalist.
I don't know this article.
It's in the States about it. It's in Florida.
Yeah. B. I'm gonna guess B.
B, Grim Reaper is correct. Okay, so his name is I hope I'm saying this right. Daniel Alfager, and he's I watched the story. I think it's pretty good, because he was saying, and I agree with him, that I'm doing this because I want the beaches to be able to be open permanently already, and it's not gonna happen if people are still going to the beach. People are still like hanging out with each other.
Not taking care. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope that's something that people in the Philippines can sort of learn from, that just because the term changes of what Q we're under doesn't mean that the virus is gone. Okay, number 2. You have to say true or false if this actually happened. Mask. This is in the States again. I searched like bizarre news. Most of it is happening in the States. Mask exemption cards. Are they a true thing or not? So this is a card where if you have it, you're legally allowed to not wear a mask. Like, you're not obliged to.
Feel ko true. They did that talaga.
They did it, but it was fake. Parang it was a fraud. So it actually, the card, the line says, wearing a face mask poses a mental and or physical risk to me. Under the Americans with Disability Act, I am not required to disclose my condition to you. And it actually misspelled the word poses as possess.
No, but see, that's the thing. I think in the States, they are, kasi syempre super different yung environment nila. They're so, they're all about liberty and, what we want and let us be and all of those things, that even something as, simple to us as a face mask that can protect you, and it's been proven, by literally World Health Organization everywhere, that it helps and it prevents you from getting the virus. Something as simple as that, parang constraint na yun for them, diba? So, here in Philippines, please, everyone watching, wear a mask.
Wear a mask, yeah. This is what I would say. 300 plus years under the Spanish regime. I feel like Philippines are kind of like, mask, okay. I mean, at least I can still choose where I live. Di ba, mga ganun? When you see these type of news, I saw there's a very viral video also of, I think it was in the States, obviously. It was in Congress, and I don't know what you call this, when it's like citizens and they get to like voice out their opinions to the to the politicians, and they were really complaining na parang shame on all of you for making us wear masks. You're taking away our rights. Ganyan.
Yeah.
Did you get to see this? And what's your reaction to this
I
type
didn't
of
see that. I didn't see that.
reality? But it happened, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of people. There are some people saying that parang I don't need a mask, diba? Jesus can protect me. Which
Yeah.
for me, I believe in God. I'm a Catholic, but that is very stupid.
Right.
Jesus is
Agree.
strong, but my gosh, sometimes talaga, sometimes people. What's your
Yeah.
reaction when you see this type of news?
I think it's similar to your reaction or anybody else's reaction who is, I don't know, logical. But syempre it's I feel like when I see those things, it's no doubt why the US, their cases are rising the way they are because their citizens are
Yes.
um
Unique.
they yeah, unique. I guess we can safely put it at that.
Yeah, but it reached the point for me that I'm not really hating, because a lot of people I imagine, like when I see their captions that they share, they're very angry and they're really like mad. But I know that if I'm angry, it's not really gonna do anything. It fascinates me nga eh. I reached the point of seeing so much bad news. It fascinates me. Like, wow, what else does this person think? Like, how does he make breakfast or whatever? Because if you think that wearing a mask is like taking away your right, I just want to know, like, that's a different wiring. I would love to have an interview with them. Actually, I don't know where that conversation is gonna go. But anyway, let's go to our last news item.
Go.
This one, I just want to get your opinion on it. So in Spain, we know that Spain was like another hotspot also for coronavirus.
My sister is still there.
Oh my gosh, she was in JTA.
Yes.
Is this Margot?
Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
What? Huh?
She's still there. Later.
Okay. Well, prayers to her and hope she's safe.
Yeah.
Anyway, this news item apparently can affect her. So in Spain, dancing is allowed in bars again, but only with people that they know. So I have no clue how they're gonna verify this, or if it's like a reminder. Gawin nyo na lang to, ah. It's just with people you know. But I don't know. When do you think do you think something like that can happen in the Philippines?
True. Feeling ko that happened talaga.
Oh, okay.
I hope not. But kasi, I mean, it's similar actually to, I guess it's just in a different perspective or different idea altogether. But what they were trying to do was to allow, because right now, diba, prohibited pa rin to have a back ride sa angkas in the motorcycle, diba?
Yeah.
But what they were discussing was, would it be okay to allow back ride if it's from the same family or if you're from the same household naman. Yung ganon, I guess it's a similar concept because you're from the same house anyway, you sleep in the same same room, in the same bed, maybe for husband
together,
and wife. So it should be safe, and you eat together, so it should be safe to be on a motorcycle together. Yeah. But I feel like, I don't know, honestly, personally speaking, I feel like that is actually even more logical than dancing on a table with people, because number one, bars, I think, it's still so, even if you say, the curve has flattened in this country and the cases are slowly declining.
Or are you talking about
No,
Spain?
in other countries, in Spain, for example, where they're kind of loosening their restrictions. Sorry, not here, Anton.
Yeah. I just wanted to know, if you told me tomorrow the curve has flattened, I'm gonna believe it. Like that's how desperate I am for some good news. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, but parang even if in some countries it's quote unquote safer, I think we still need to be taking precaution and not going outside unless it's not essential.
Of course. Our village has that same rule, and I think it's easier naman to tell here because we have a basketball court for our village. It's right outside my house. It's right across my house, and you can play basketball as long as it's with someone from your own household, which is thank God, because I love playing basketball. I do miss like running and playing with other people, being with my friends. But then those type of rules kasi na logically, if you get to really just play with the people or dance with the people, from the same house, it could work. But then implementation,
then
parang
in
labo.
playing basketball in your basketball court, dapat you play together from the same household, but kayo lang yung nandun, right?
Yeah. No one really uses the court naman.
Diba? So I don't think, I'm not sure if it's similar na, for example, the one in Spain that you're saying na they can dance in the bar as long as they're together. But okay lang yun kung sila lang yung nandun, diba? But I doubt that, they're the only ones there. So it's different.
Okay. Anyway, thank you so much again for all of for answering all of my questions and for your time. I know that you are a very busy person. Hopefully no new story has come up in the past hour. But last thing na lang before you go, I just wanna make let's make a prediction. So today, when we're recording this, on what date is it today?
It's July 8th.
July 8th. It's July 8th today. What is your prediction of where the Philippines is going to be July 8th, 2021? And then on that day, I'm going to give you a call and then I'm going to say you were right or you were wrong. What is one prediction you want to make?
I just hope that at this time
not hope.
next
Wait,
year.
not hope. No, we have to claim it. Okay. We have to claim it. This will happen.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's claim it. Let's be positive.
Yes.
Like you said, we're optimistic here that there will be a vaccine by that time and we will be able to somehow go back to, or not, if not go back, but move on towards a better normal for everyone.
Better normal, I think, is probably my favorite. We have heard new normal. My mom has been saying next normal. I'm gonna use better normal. That is a better way to live life. So once again, Cor, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Guessing on the show. And I'll be tuning into your social media for the latest news updates and whatever. Once again, Cor Catibayan, thank you.
Thanks, Anton. Thank you so much.